Rabbits and foxes, boats and monorails. You are now tuned into the Disney Holic Show.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Holic Show. That's Jen Diz.
And that's Myke TV.
Today we've got a lot of miscellany for you. Everything from Zootopia to some grumpy Disney tangents. Also, we're going to check in on those Ewoks movies from the 80s and a couple other things. Alrighty, one of our favorite types of episodes, miscellany, because we just got so many things piled up that we want to talk about, including one of our first Patreon topic takeover topics, if that makes sense. Patreon topic takeover topic is going to be included today in our miscellany. How fun is that?
What? I do love a bunch of tiny tangents. I think I'm going to call them that too. Tiny
Tiny
tangents.
tangents. That seems like an independent video game for PlayStation or something cool.
It should be.
Yeah.
Probably should be, yeah.
Well, anyways, yeah, some stuff has been happening in the parks, outside of the parks, in pop culture, on TV, and so there's a whole handful of things. But the thing that is really, really on my mind right now, that I'm excited to tell you about because it just happened very recently,
Hmm.
is I had an impromptu day at Animal Kingdom, decided to drop by the park and hang out for a little bit at the end of the night and check out Pandora in the evening. And of course, I forgot, oh, wow, there's a new attraction here. And that new attraction is Zootopia, better Zoogether, which took the place in the Tree of Life where we used to have the Bugs Life show.
Is it really called that? Better Together?
Better Zoogether, yes.
This is so interesting because Better Together is a song from Red Panda. Was it called? Turning Red,
Oh, you're right. Wait,
right?
it's by the boy band?
Yeah.
I think so.
Four Town.
Fort Town.
You,
Oh,
me, better together. And now this is Better Together
oh
from a
wow.
different
Okay.
IP. Interesting. Okay.
There you go. And Zootopia 2, the sequel, is coming out. I think by the time we release this episode, it's already like rolling out into theaters. Because Thanksgiving is a big day for family movies, and Zootopia is going to be one of those big ones. I think the first one performed really well, so I'm assuming part two will do really well. And then the timing of this the attraction will probably be popular, continue on through the holidays after the movie comes out. Now, what are your thoughts on just what you know about it and how it replaced Bug's Life? I would say that's important to start in terms of like how people are feeling about this ride is what used to be there.
Okay. Well, I did love the Bugs Life show. I like the scary elements of it. But I didn't go that often. So I don't need it either. I'm sad to see it go, but I'm not going to be one of those people that are like hating because I also wasn't there letting it thrive. Also, let's be real, Bugs Life did not thrive, right?
Right. It never had
Did
a
not.
sequel, and it was a good movie when it came out. It was the second Pixar movie after Toy Story. And then what? Yeah, it got a little bit of a land for a while in California and not too much
I
else.
still have yet to have watched this movie.
Wow. But that's funny because you know the land and this ride we're talking about.
Yep. I know the characters. Like I know like a whole bunch of stuff about it. Did not watch the movie, but
Oh.
Zootopia is also great. I think it's a great fit for Animal Kingdom. Um, yeah, so I'm okay with it. I'm
Yeah.
excited to watch it. I feel like my my guess is that it's watered down into something just cute and easy. Just like
Cute
they
and
did with
easy.
like Tiana's Blue not Tiana's Blue
Oh,
Bayou.
Blue Bayou
Tiana's
Adventure.
Bayou Adventure.
Blue Balls Adventure. Oops.
Yes.
Okay, so you're completely right with all of these things. I think it's going to be a crowd pleaser to like just general public, but I think Disney people, Disney Parks fans are not going to like it. Most people have been complaining about the new Zootopia ride. So I kind of just went in as like, oh, whatever, we'll see what it is. But I
Hmm.
was really just like, what is going on? What is going on? Who made this? Who greenlit this? So
What?
let's start with the fact that it's mostly a movie which doesn't fit the style of the theater. So the theater is designed to make it look like the 3D is you watching these characters in front of you on a stage. Think like Monsters Laugh Floor
Okay.
and the old Bugs Life. That's what Bugs Life was designed for. Honey, I Shrunk the Audience played that way as well, and they would like pick up the whole theater and you would go with it. This one is a hot mess. At times, it's a host walking on the stage who's a wolf, and then at other times, it just completely changes, and you're now watching a movie. So if that makes sense, like the scale and the ratio, all of that doesn't make sense if you're watching someone walk across the stage and then suddenly now you're watching wide angle shots of the city and you're seeing different edits and close-ups of the characters like Judy
Okay.
Hopps. It doesn't make sense. And now I feel like I'm watching a 3D movie at the movie theater. And then it'll suddenly go back to the wolf comes back on stage. And I'm like,
And the wolf
okay.
is part, it's like a something on the screen, right?
Yeah, the wolf is on the screen.
Okay.
And
But
they
it's like as if they're there in person.
as if they're there in person walking back and forth. And
And
that
it
part
doesn't have
looked
any
good.
explanation, like, let's take a look at the clip from or anything like that. It
Kind of. Here's what I'll say. I think if I was paying more attention, it they were going live. They were like Judy Hopps live on the scene for the Zoogether Day, and they would show her in the city. I think that's what they were supposed to be doing. Now, what doesn't make sense is why am I being sprayed with water when she sees water and via satellite? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's
and even then, if you're supposed to be there with a presenter
yeah.
in person, they have to have her live on a screen in the screen
In
or
the
something,
screen.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that because that is something they did do, but it was also a huge fail. So, okay, some of the points I hit on where it doesn't fit the format. Um, the wolf who was the host, actually that was a good effect. If they just kept it like that, like the wolf looked like it was on stage. I was very impressed. Like the 3D has gotten a lot better since Bugs Life and Muppets and all that. And then it just would throw me off when it would switch back to like movie cinema. Now, the thing that I wanted to see the most, that everyone was hyped about, including the naysayers, is this new animatronic of Clawhauser, who's the tiger, who's a huge fan of Gazelle and works as a security guard in Zootopia 1. In the story of this one, he's a DJ, and I guess he was always a DJ, but he's now getting paid. He has like his laptop up and the discs and the turntables, as everything was
He's now
there.
getting
He's
paid.
not getting like it was like his job. I think he was like a hobby before.
Got it.
So I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, there it is. That looks so legit, this whole DJ setup. And I was like, is it ever gonna work? Does it turn on? I was like, okay, maybe halfway through the show. Nope. It was in B mode the entire time. So Clawhauser, who is supposed to be the big draw and narrating, like talking back and forth with what's going on the stage and the audience. And it's a giant animatronic. It moves, it laughs, it smiles. It was not working. And so I was very distracted by trying to figure that out while I was watching it. And then there was a floating drone, 3D drone.
Oh
So
shoot.
it's fake,
Okay.
right? Holding a TV screen with Clawhauser backstage, supposedly talking the way I guess he would if he was the DJ.
Could you see him out? Like the animatronic that's not working?
I could see his entire stage area with all his equipment, but he wasn't there. And
Huh.
there was no curtain or something. I'd rather have them put a,
Yeah.
a sheet over the whole thing because what ended up being left out actually looked like bad show. If you didn't already know a DJ was supposed to be there, it looked like somebody left a bunch of AV equipment out in the dark.
Got
So
it.
so bad.
Yeah,
It
it's
just kept
weird.
getting more and more. I was just getting irritated as it went. I was like, what is going on? And yeah, so they figured out how to do the Clawhauser thing appropriately through via satellite, but it was weird because he's supposed to be backstage. But so there were a lot of times where some of the characters who were on the stage via screen 3D would look to the left and talk to Clawhauser, and he wasn't there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I guess that someone came up with the B mode because they obviously had the floating TV ready, but it wasn't really perfect. So in other words, I also waited. Here's more context. Like we never wait for the Bugs Life ride anymore. It's usually a walk on. I waited 25 minutes for this dumb attraction. So I was already mad that I waited. And then they did that thing where they just stuffed us all in. So I was on the literally the very last seat of a row. So everything was on the side. And so, yeah, just everything was not good. It was not good. I would never go back. I do not recommend it. It's basically like you're watching Zootopia 2 3D, but like a teaser. Remember how they used to do that sometimes? They would show teasers. That's what the whole
Now, if
thing
they
felt
had a
like.
super cool animatronic during the whole
Right.
show.
Yeah. I wonder if it would have made a difference. I feel like that's just the thing that people are trying to hold on to make it sound like it was
So
good.
I'm
And
not the only
it
one that thought that.
Yeah, I think I would be impressed by the animatronic, but the whole experience is just bad. Like it wasn't well thought through. It's like nobody stepped in. Everyone was afraid to like call each other out while they were making it and be like, "No, I don't think we should do this." Or and then the
Yeah.
worst part of all is you had said earlier you could see this fitting into Animal Kingdom. And I could see it fitting in too. And there were so many easy ways they could have done it, particularly if they wanted to keep the environmental theme, is talk about the different habitats. That was like one of my favorite thing about the movie is like you see the
Yeah.
tundra people and the jungle people and the sand desert animals. Nope, none of that. It was just all about everybody getting together for Zootopia Day and then just a lot of like
See?
slapstick and
There's that
things. Yep.
Tiana.
And
Yep.
like, oh, I'm gonna talk and I'm gonna be spitting when I talk, so then therefore the water's gonna spray on people. But I'm talking on camera via satellite. The whole thing was a mess. Now, all that said, I was there with a new Disney holic, someone who is newly minted and liking Disney, and he loved every second of it. He was
Ah!
he was laughing at all the effects, didn't know any of the things were going to happen. So they still have all the things like the bugs crawling under your butt on the chair, except this time it's a different animal. No, I won't spoil that. And there's some good surprises and twists and turns, but it still feels like just a movie. And but yeah, he loved it. And like I said, general audience who are coming there for vacation and they are familiar with Zootopia, and they're like, "Oh, cool." The audience was clapping; they loved it. So yeah, I think it's gonna do what it's gonna do. I don't think um, it's gonna, it can't fail more than Bugs Life, as we said. Like it was already not getting enough people going into that theater, so here we are. If there's one good thing that comes out of this is Shakira has a new song that's part of Zootopia 2. It's called Zoo, and it's a very cute song. Check it out. Listen to it somewhere.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my attraction review of the new. I should stop saying ride. I'm going to make sure I say attraction because it is not a
Attraction.
ride.
You know what? Also, one last thought about it. You mentioned they had a B mode
Yeah.
for him not being there, but it's interesting that they realized that they need a B mode for that, but then didn't realize that when people are talking to him in a
Yeah.
certain direction, that that needs to be changed too,
That seems
right?
like a pretty obvious one. Yeah.
Yeah, like how did you not run the whole way through with your B mode,
They're
right?
like, oh,
It's
they'll just
weird.
think he's talking to the floating screen that's just off screen now.
Oh,
I don't
geez.
know.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah, no.
know. Hot mess. Uh, what was I gonna say? Oh, it did make me grumpy and make me start just looking at things with a critical eye the rest of the night at that park. And I will say I'm getting a little bit annoyed with just maintenance, around the parks. So just a handful of things. Some we've talked about, some we haven't. So Zootopia broken, brand new ride, no excuse. No excuse. I went to the cast member after and I said, just a quick question. Is there supposed to be an animatronic in there? Because that's what I was expecting. And she goes, "Oh, not today." And then the cast member next to her jumped in and was like, "Yeah, it happens sometimes. It's just down." And I'm like, "Isn't it brand new?" And he goes, "Yeah." Yeah, and then I realized like it's not their fault, obviously. So then I just started playing along and saying, "Oh, maybe he's tired today. Clawhauser didn't want
He's
to
on
come."
vacation.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Yeah, maybe you'll see him next time." And I'm like, "Whatever. This is a brand new ride, and your annual passes cost thousands of dollars, and you better keep that tiger working for me. I want to
You
see it.
know what?
I want to
I'm
see
gonna
it."
fight you on this.
Tell me.
Monsters Unchained.
Oh, I will
Oh.
say, um, yeah, it's not restricted to Disney parks. Yeah, I would say
It
these.
is crazy
Yeah.
that they can have something brand. I don't remember that being a thing in the older days, right? Like rides
Well,
breaking down until they get old.
Universal had problems with the Hagrid's ride for a long time, and I wasn't like a
Mm,
Universal person at that time. I would be following it on the sidelines and seeing a lot of people very mad. Like sometimes the ride wouldn't open
okay.
till like 12, and they had to close it at like 5 just to be able to maintain it before and after. So
I wonder if there's research on that somewhere. I'd be
yeah,
interested because like at Disneyland, like the rides are shut down all the time. Like Indiana Jones, like was that a problem in 1994? I
right.
can't remember. I have no idea.
And you know why it's less of a grumpy tangent for me because I wasn't paying my entire rent in 1994. Like the prices
Mm,
were the inflation doesn't count. And we were talking about that before offline, and it's like they have now decided that they are a premium brand and they're
right.
going to charge premium money and they're going to price people out. So I expect a premium product. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
Um, Here, another one is just something simple like the fountain. There's a cool fountain with a really neat effect in the Asia part of Animal Kingdom. It wasn't working, it was broken. And I thought, like, how can you let something like that be broken? That's easy. That's really like the mall across the street can figure that out. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, super
and then we
cool.
went to Pandora. I was so excited because it's finally dark out at nighttime. Went to go to Pandora Avatar. A lot of the lights weren't working. And so you could see some of the plants were supposed to be lit up and were not. It still was
Mm,
beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I was already mad, you see. So I
yeah.
was like looking around.
Start noticing
I
everything.
started noticing
Critical.
everything. And then I started seeing like some of the lights were like sticking out where the lights did work. They weren't like buried into the grass as well. So you could see like the full metal strip with the LED circles. And I'm like, what
Oh
is this? A
shoot.
hue light in my bathroom? Like Philips hue light? Come on. So I was getting just so mad. And then the icing on the cake is just Animal Kingdom is just still a hot mess with its identity issues. So closed at 7, so that's where we're excited, and that's why we went. Everything pretty much closed at 4 to 4:30, except for maybe a handful of things like Avatar. So we go to use this new camera. We want to go take pictures of the tigers and stuff and the Asian track thing. They're like, nope, we close at 4. And I was like, but the park closes at 7, right? They're like, yes, but this closes at 4. We're like, okay, if in the store and the restaurant nearby, yes, we close at 4. So I'm like, okay, you're wasting my time. You're wasting my time. You're already making me mad. I'm mad. And then Epcot, we go to Epcot, and then I'm reminded of how the lights on the ground that are brand new took like 15 years to install. Without exaggerating, about 3 years to put lights on the
Yeah.
floor. 3 years. Already broken. They just completely gave up on them. This is something I see a lot on YouTube. There's like people who are really passionate about these lights on the ground, and they've been following it and seeing it change and go to solid lights and then stop syncing with the ball. Now it's just completely gone. It's just they're just turned off. You just walk over dead lights. So I was like, okay. But again, if you don't come often and you're not a Disney holic like us, you wouldn't notice it. You would just walk right over it. Um, and then there's a complaint that I have that I bring up at least once a month, which is Rise of the Resistance. At this point, I'm on 80-20 ratio where I've only ridden 20% where it's fully operating. And that was probably maybe some of the first times we've gone on.
Are you counting the cannons or
I'm counting
not?
the cannons that
You
don't
are.
work.
Okay.
Uh, Kylo Ren, like probably the last 4 times I've been on it, B mode. And then there's always something. It's always
Is
one
it
thing or
the scene
another.
where he's like, ah!
Yeah, right. And then
Yeah, he
instead of
breaks a
that,
lot. I don't know why
yeah.
only that Kylo Ren breaks all the time. Like, what about the other one that's standing up on top? I've never seen him broken down.
That one, I'm always holding my breath that it's not going to turn around, and it always does. And I'm
And
like,
he goes,
yeah, it's working. I'm
what
like
does he
worried that
say?
it's not going to work. You or get them or
Hold on,
something.
he says, but ultimately hopeless.
Oh, and then he runs after you, which that one is crazy. Half person, half animatronic, half projector. I don't know what it is when he runs after you. Um, and then the one that is, I think, completely just turned off now. Maybe you know from Disneyland is the spaceship shuttle. It doesn't shake or do anything anymore. It just you just stand there and pretend you're flying with the screens in the front and back and the Admiral dude. But yeah, it doesn't move or
Huh.
shake anymore. That's been like the last few times I've been on it.
There was a big chunk of time at Disneyland where it wasn't moving anymore.
Oh,
I mean, it moves, but like the shaking and stuff, or like the flying part of it. There was like all these rumors going around that they're like, oh, they stopped because people somebody hurt themselves probably or whatever assumptions people are making. But it came back. It just was like down for quite like months and months.
interesting. That's what
Yeah.
I think that's what disappoints me is that we talk about how these Imagineers work so hard on the perfect experience. And so for them to allow even first time guests to get on something like this and only 20% or not 20, 80% of it is working and they don't know like that thing was supposed to move, it was going to be so much cooler. That just bums me out. It's also a good
Yeah.
reason to like deal with the crowds, and if this is something that's important to you like it is to us, is like go check it out opening day, because a lot of times these rides and full on
Yep.
theme parks, Epic Universe, a lot of these things stop working pretty quickly after.
Yep.
Yeah, and they take it away. So there's my grumpy tangent brought to you by Zootopia, better Zoogether. But of course, I'm
Whoops.
still gonna go, and I'm gonna keep going and buying all the things. Let's see. More miscellany. Oh, fun topic. This is from Patreon member Andrew Oliver. And so
Okay.
he had questions about the TTC, which we always use the abbreviation, and sometimes our friends say, "What the heck are you talking about?" So the TTC is the Transportation and Ticketing Center for Walt Disney World. And he also asked about the Seven Seas Lagoon, which is ultimately where the TTC transportation vehicles take you to or take you across. So those two things kind of go together. And they were actually built in time for Walt Disney World. They were part of the opening of Walt Disney World. And it turns out, in true Disney Imagineer fashion, the reason why they decided to have a large lagoon separating Magic Kingdom from where the guests would eventually park or lodge in terms of like hotels is they truly wanted you to feel like you were traveling and leaving the real world and going somewhere new. Which we learned a lot about that technique when you and I did the tour at Disney World, and they would tell us about the design of Main Street and how you're supposed to walk past the train station, and then the castle reveals itself like a theater curtain opening. So think of that on a grander scale is what they wanted and why they decided you can't just show up at Magic Kingdom. You have to take a monorail or a boat to get here.
You know
And
what's
so,
funny is like sometimes when you really want to like sell us on something, like one of your ideas or something that you like that you know we're not gonna like, you fluff a lot. That sounds like a Disney World fluff. Like they're like, oh, like we just had to do this because of logistics or whatever they,
right.
and then they're like, oh, it's because you're entering another world. Like what?
Like, this is why you have to go around.
Yeah.
I made a note here too, just for us. I said, is this truly an experience or is it a Hasselhoff?
Hasselhoff,
It is a Hasselhoff.
100,000%.
It's it's such a hassle. Magic Kingdom now, as a local of the four parks, is the one I go to the least. Not necessarily because it's my least favorite. It might be sometimes, but it's just the hardest to get to. And
Yeah.
it's such a Hasselhoff. So you have to either lie and park at a hotel and get through if you're lucky, and then take their transportation, or you have to deal with the TTC. And at that point, you're taking 2 to 3 transportation types just to get to Magic Kingdom. So that means you're taking your car, parking far away, then you're taking a tram from your car to the front of the TTC, then you're selecting monorail or giant ship to go across. And then you know what? At night, the worst. Sometimes you'll wait like 45 minutes to get back on one of those
Yeah.
transportation options. So
And you're like forced into it.
you're forced
Like you
into
don't
it. Yeah.
like sometimes like remember the old school days when or like even current at Disneyland, if you are going back to the Mickey and Friends parking garage after the park closes, you can either go wait in those long ass ridiculous lines at the tram or you can walk and do
Right.
it faster. takes more energy, so you have to kind of decide. But there it's like you're just forced into you
Yeah.
can't just
Yeah.
cheat and do something else.
Yeah,
Like, or
you
not
can't
cheat,
even
but you know what I mean? You don't have options.
you don't have options. And they I mean, it is a great selling point for the Seven Seas Lagoon resorts. So
Yes,
if you
true.
stay right at Grand Floridian or Polynesian Contemporary, you can then just go straight to a boat or monorail, which yeah, that's nice for those folks. Um, so what was my point around this? Oh yeah, sorry. We had a question about this from our lovely Patreon member. So yeah, looked into that. It was meant to be by design. They actually already had Bay Lake there. So you hear the term Bay Lake a lot. That's actually the body of water that's connected to Seven Seas Lagoon, where there's more hotels like the Wilderness Lodge, and Fort Wilderness goes across Bay Lake. And that's also where the infamous abandoned island is. And it turns out Bay Lake was a real body of water that was there. Whereas something like Seven Seas Lagoon and something you might see at Epcot, those were man-made. And Seven Seas Lagoon was what was enabled them to gather up a bunch of dirt by digging the big hole for the lagoon and then using it to create a second floor for Magic Kingdom.
See, there's your logistics
Yep, so
that they made a fake story around.
there was a reason for it. Now, can you guess the deepest part of the lake of Seven Seas Lagoon?
Um, the middle.
Oh, I should say how
No,
deep do
I'm
you think?
kidding. Um, since it's man-made, I'm gonna guess it's not very deep. So I'm gonna guess. So those boats probably go at least like 10 feet down. I'll guess 15 feet.
Wow, 14 feet.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm so
which is deep
good.
enough to creep me out. Like if you
Yeah,
fall,
yeah.
if you can't touch the bottom, oh, that creeps me out so much. Whereas like if you see the drainage of the rivers of America, you're like, okay, it's not that
There you
crazy.
go. I could
Yeah.
just walk around in that. No, no problem.
Right?
Yeah.
But this is a legit lagoon separating Magic Kingdom from the rest of Walt Disney World, and it has wildlife and creatures, and it's now been lived in for 50 plus years. So yeah, there's no real
Crazy.
draining of something like that without it feeling
There's
like you're
no
really
turning back
messing with
now.
no turning back now. Swimming was allowed. Isn't that weird?
It is
Swimming was
weird.
allowed at one point. Now, transportation ticketing center, that was for a while the only place that you can go and get your tickets. So you'd have to go there and all the booths would be
Oh,
there. But
that's
now
super interesting.
Magic Kingdom up front and every park has their own full-on ticketing booth system and
Wait,
guest
so they would
services.
force everyone to go to TTC?
I think if you're at the hotel, you'd always got the best experience. So I think the hotels always had ticket counters. But yeah, if you were coming from Route 66. You got to stop at TTC and get your tickets. Now, I do
Oh my
remember as a
God. Even
kid,
with the parks that had their own parking lot, you
yeah.
still have to go to TTC first.
And I think
Ridiculous.
they were probably a lot more Disney World passport centric versus now everything is very park specific with park specific surge prices. Like it costs different to go to one park than the other. So who knows? It might have been easier than it sounded because the pricing was easier at the
Right.
time. And I think the military tickets you could have always bought in the base because I remember getting those for anything, really, any theme park, Disney or not. Wow. So yeah, that's TTC, that's Seven Seas Lagoon. I would like to see more transportation options across the park, like more Skyliners and things. Maybe have one stop at TTC because TTC doesn't take you to Hollywood Studios. It doesn't take you to Animal Kingdom, but it could take you to Epcot if you take the Epcot monorail. And then from there, you could technically walk to the back of Epcot and take the Skyliner. Um, so there's some fun things there that I guess make this feel like a city hub, which is what they were going for. Yeah,
Okay. Fine. Fine.
fine. Okay, more miscellany. Are you ready for my thoughts on Wicked?
Sure.
Okay, so it's been out for some time now. enough that the people who are afraid of spoilers should have already seen it or stayed away from the internet. I'm gonna stay away from some spoilers, but there's certain things that just need to be talked about, which is the very first one is yes, it was very good, but it's meant to be watched right after the first one.
Mm.
It really is. Like this is a 6 hour long, maybe 5.5 hour long story movie. And so if you haven't seen it yet, or you're gonna watch it again, I would recommend either at home or find a double feature, like watch the first one and pretend you're on an intermission like you would be at the Broadway musical. And then you'd come back from that intermission, and the story picks up like a few years later, but it still feels exactly like where it was to be continued. So I think that context is important because I'm hearing mostly good things, but I'm hearing some mixed reviews from people who feel like it doesn't stand on its own, and it's not supposed to. I think there's a few movies like that are not supposed to. Like the Lord of the Rings trilogy are three books that are meant to be together. It would be weird if you just went in and watched Two Towers and didn't watch the first Fellowship of the Ring because it's a continuation. So it's to that degree of continuation. But wow, did they nail it? I think John M. Chu nailed it again. The cast, everything was just magical, and they filmed it at the same time. So I'm assuming if people thought the first one was good in terms of like production quality, it's the same set, the same place, the same camera people, same crew. Which means this cast and crew have been it's been 3 years since they filmed it, and they have to still come out and promote it and think about remember what it was like. Like they'll ask questions about, oh, what was it like on the set with Ariana Grande? And I now hear people disclaiming, well, it was like 3 years ago, but yeah, she was great. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's cool. But yeah, the movie was good. What I thought was really if there's something like Disney adjacent that I wanted to take and bring to the podcast was this whole concept of seeing things from another character's perspective, um, in a story that we all already know and love. So the whole reason why Wicked became successful was it was a twist on The Wizard of Oz. So if we remember, Wizard of Oz is a series of books by Frank L. Baum that was then adapted into a movie by MGM, movie musical, which was then written into fan fiction called Wicked, which was a novel that's very dark. And then Stephen Schwartz adapted that fanfic novel into a Broadway musical. And here we are with somebody creating films that are an adaptation of the Broadway musical. So that's how far we've come with
Wow.
this IP of
It's
Oz.
like,
And
what?
yeah, there's so much to pull from. But what happens is when you get to that far into the layers, the story can be told from anyone's point of view and it will be different because that's how people remember things. And I thought that was a really great storyline throughout this particular sequel was the wizard reminding people that history is told by whoever's writing it. And I think that has a lot of just reflections of like what's going on today in the world and just how we remember history and who owns it. And we're taking things out of books right now in the United States. We're removing history from books, and that's what the wizard does, and that's why people thought the witch was wicked is because they wanted people to believe that and they created propaganda about that. So I thought that was interesting. And
Mm.
essentially the Wizard of Oz is a 10-year-old girl experiencing what she experienced as Dorothy, coming back and finding the author, L. Frank Baum, and telling him about her time in Oz. And then he wrote it. So it's also his version of a girl telling him a story. And that means there's so much flexibility in terms of you could get away with things and say, oh, the reason why there was no interaction with the Wicked Witch and Dorothy was because there never was. Dorothy just remembered it that way because she kept hearing about the scary green lady, and she was a naive 10-year-old girl. And for all we know, there was actual drama, adult drama happening, which is what Wicked is. And I just thought, wow, how many stories would be very cool to be told that way, and what stories have been told that way. And a handful came to mind. So Maleficent, we got to see Maleficent's point of view with Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
There
Yep.
was two movies out of that one, and a lot of people end up liking her more because she was a fairy that was done wrong, and they clipped her horns and wings, and she had an awful experience. Whereas the story we knew was just that she was the mean one who was mad that she didn't get invited to a birthday party in the cartoon,
Right.
and probably in the story or whatever it was based on, the fairy tale. Another big one from Disney, Frozen. So Frozen completely flipped everything on its head. Disney never gave us a version of the Snow Queen where she was the villain, as written in the original fairy tales. They decided right off the bat they were going to flip it and make her somebody who is, um, what's the word we use when somebody is misunderstood,
Oh, yes.
and they
Wait,
have
what is it called?
powers.
There's what is that villainous show called?
Oh, Unhappily Ever After, or Villainous, Unhappily
They
Ever
kept
After.
talking about being misunderstood during it or
Yes,
something,
the
right?
song
Yeah.
was about it. Yep, and
Oh yeah, yeah, the song.
if they were unfairly treated. Yep. So yeah, they decided to go straight through the gates as Elsa being neither villain nor hero at first, and kind of the village people were scared of her, but we knew as the audience that she was fine, like she wasn't bad. So I thought that was interesting that we never got the Snow Queen. And that story is has some dark moments where she like shoves some icicle in some kid's eyeball and blinds them.
Yeah.
So, hey, maybe
Dark.
we'll get
Gets
a
dark.
version. I wouldn't mind a version of that where somebody from Arendelle tells the story of this crazy princess who went ballistic with her powers out of after, being trapped in this scary castle for so long. Like
Right.
that could be someone's
That
point of
sounds
view.
fun. I
Right.
actually I
And you
want it.
think of like the like Hans and the villains, they might have had their own version of what it felt like to go to that kingdom and find this person with mutant powers. She's an X-Man for Pete's sake. What the heck? So there's that. Star Wars, Disney property. Star Wars is the thorough line of Star Wars has always been from a certain point of view. It was what Obi-Wan said in the very first film, and it's why they were able to get away with saying, yes, Anakin Skywalker is dead, and yes, Darth Vader is alive, and yes, they're both the same person. But it was depending on your point of view because, um, not Ewan. What was Obi-Wan? I guess that's his name, but it wasn't Alex McGinnis. Alec McGinnis, I think, played Alec Guinness.
Hmm.
Played Obi-Wan in the very first Star Wars, where he said Anakin was dead and told Luke that his dad was dead. And we didn't find out later that it was both true and false, depending on your point of view. So Star
Right.
Wars has always been doing that. Even things like Andor is like flipping it, and you're seeing it from other people's point of view. Rogue One, we got to see the Death Star from a different point of view, and that there were actual workers building that who were enslaved to work on it, who were then probably blown up, is what we can assume, on their
Yeah.
lunch break on the Death
No, we
Star.
like
Yep.
actually saw it, right?
Yeah, we
In
actually
Rockwood.
saw it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's not
Um,
assumptions. That's like
not substance. There's even these cute Star Wars short cartoons called Star Wars Droids, which retells the stories we know from R2D2's and C3PO's point of view, which is so funny because what they care about is not what we care about. They're like just caring about like hijinks and having fun and making sure their companions are safe and
it's
fine.
cute.
And so they might be working on and arguing over opening a lock while some crazy dark side battle is happening on the side, on the main stage, is what we saw the first time. So yeah, this stuff is really cool. And then the last one that I thought was interesting was I recently rewatched the Ewok movies, which were TV specials. I didn't realize that, but it said something like Lucas Television. I was so young that I think I watched it on someone's taped recorded version of the TV
Uh
special, right? I don't remember
yeah.
watching it like on air. So those movies were really interesting, and those were also through the Ewoks' point of views of the entire Star Wars happening, but just this one moon and their relationship with these big spaceships that would just keep invading their skies, and them having to learn that there is more out there in the universe because they got caught up in this battle. And that's like a nice, cute one, and that was more kids and family friendly. So that was interesting. And
No,
Ewok, oh yeah.
no, I was just gonna say actually really like movies that excuse me, but they usually do it all in the same film where they have like, I don't know, seven different people and they show like they go through one person's version and then they show it through the next. You know what I mean? It's a common
Yes,
trope
yes,
of
those are
movies.
really cool when done right. Go is one of our favorite, if
Yeah,
you remember
yeah.
that. Yeah, that was a
Hmm.
really cool one. I will say a bad example is Weapons, which just really recently came out.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh
it,
yeah, yep.
I
Yeah, it
feel
does
like
do
that
that.
they just didn't execute it right, in my opinion. There was another bad one that was just on Netflix about a hijacked plane and the president. It was played by Elba. Also not good, but when they do it right, yes, I do love it. Like Go.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's kind of that same idea, but on a bigger scale because it's individual, bunch of
yeah,
individual films.
in whole individual films, and in the case going back to Wicked, it was a whole series of novels and then a musical and then now two movies. And it's just really cool to see some of your favorite scenes from Wizard of Oz, or not even favorite scenes, but things that you know about from pop culture. Like, why did the house fall on the Wicked Witch of the East? Why did the shoes end up on Dorothy's feet? And when you watch Wicked for Good, you find out the real reasons why this happened based
Oh,
on what
okay.
was
I
going
like
on.
the fact that they tie in because I felt very separated from Wizard of Oz on the first one, right?
Yeah,
Like
I would
it
say
doesn't really.
the first half of Wicked, including the first half of the play, is very much the lives of these people in Oz and what it feels like to really live there and go to school there. The second act is the intersection with Dorothy landing through the tornado.
Okay, you just made me want to go watch
Yeah,
it. Just that.
yeah, and all the characters are there. You're gonna see Tin Man, you're gonna see Scarecrow, you're gonna see the Cowardly Lion.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Yeah, you'll
I
find
thought we
out
were still just on
all
their
the
backstory this whole time. I didn't realize it gets to the point where it
yeah.
interacts.
And what's cool about the stage version, and I'll just put it out there. It's in the movie version too because it's well done. Is they never show Dorothy's face. So even in the musical Broadway show, her back is always toward the audience.
Huh.
Or you'll see her doing something through her shadows, which mimic the shadows that you see in the original Wizard of Oz movie when they're in the castle and the witches like doing all kinds of stuff. So they did bring in a lot of really cool memorable visuals from the OG movie into the theater show and now in the new
That's
Wicked
cool.
movie. Yeah, it's just you could just feel it. Like everyone involved wanted to make this thing that pays homage to Wizard of Oz, but is still its own like really fun new thing. And everyone just loved it. And this new soundtrack is good, and you could feel it when cast and crew enjoy what
Yeah.
they're doing in their work.
I need to see it now, not only for that, but I'm also like really sold on Ariana Grande
Yeah.
in general. I think I love her.
I have so much more respect for her over the
Yeah,
last
she's
few
like a
years.
nerd and
Hmm.
like the fact that she really wanted this part and is just like killing it and like
Yeah.
she's so good. But like I'm also like my whole algorithm is just full of this weird relationship between her and Cynthia.
Yeah,
So and
it
I'm
is very
totally
weird.
like into that too. I'm like, what is this?
I think
So
good context is when you see Wicked for Good and you go back and think that wow, these people worked on this. They filmed it for a year and then have been promoting it for 3 years on and off. They have become Glinda and Elphaba. Like I don't think those characters entirely left their body. They're part of
right.
them forever, and you could see it
It's
when they
gotta be hard,
interact.
yeah, to like separate that, right? Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, well done. I think Ariana, I'm gonna put this out there. I think she's gonna win the Oscar. She was nominated last year for Wicked. This one, she really brings it home, where she has to play a character who's pretending to be everybody's role model and perfect, but inside she's heartbroken and crying. And
Aw.
it's just like she sings a song that I couldn't be happier, and it's supposed to be like Disney princess, but she was just told by her fiance that, yeah, I'll marry you if that's what makes you happy. And then she has to
Oops.
go and sing this to make everybody happy because that's her job. It's
Yeah,
Glinda the Good. So yeah, it's just layered with so many things and so many relatable moments. Definitely check it out. Wicked for Good. It's not Disney, but I hope it ends up at Epic Universe too. There was a lot of set pieces where I was like, that looks just like the portal. Like, come on, someone was already talking about it when these things were being built.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I am sold. I didn't think I would
Cool.
be ever. So good job on that.
Yeah. I will say, the one thing that people should know going in is the first act of the Broadway musical has the better songs.
Okay.
So there's great songs in this one too, don't get me wrong, but it's a darker, more adult story. Like people are at war, there's death on the line, whereas the first one was like, hey, we're having fun at college and being silly. So you have to keep that in mind.
Okay. Sounds
Uh,
good.
and did you know that one of the most popular dog names, or many of the most popular dog names, by the way, I'm going back to Star Wars for a second, are named after Ewoks? Like Wicket is one of them.
Chewy,
Oh,
Chewbacca, lots of
Chewbacca.
Chewbaccas.
Uh-huh. Um,
Oh, wait, after Ewoks, is that what you said?
Ewoks specifically, but yeah, I guess Star Wars.
Oh,
But yeah, Ewoks. So I thought that was really cute. Wicket especially. And I actually knew someone who had, rest in peace, a pupper named Wicket pass away. But his name is Wicket W. Warwick. And I didn't know Epic. I didn't know Ewoks had full names until I rewatched these things. Which, why? I don't know. Why did they?
wait. No, that's his real name, isn't it? Wicket, and then his real name is what?
Oh, are you thinking of the
Warwick.
actor who plays him?
Yeah, that's his last, or his real name is Warwick.
That's
Warwick.
probably an
Is that
homage
really
to
the
it.
Ewok's name?
Yeah, the Ewok's name is Wicket W. Warwick.
So they gave him his real name
Um,
also?
the
Or am
actor's
I
name
tripping?
is Warwick Davis.
So
Of
they gave the Wicket his real first
Yeah,
name as his
that's
last
pretty
name?
cute. So
That's
maybe
cute.
they gave it his last name, yeah, because the Wicket ends up having a kid named Pommet, last name Warwick. Yeah. Oh my God, how cool.
Huh.
Well, hold on. I'm looking at letters here. His name is Warwick, the actor. But I mean, it
Oh.
can't be a coincidence. It,
That's
it's so
very
close.
rare name to
Yeah.
be that close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
I didn't put that part together in time to research it, but that's really interesting. But yeah,
Interesting.
Warwick is in Harry Potter. He's in so many fantasy movies. He's in Willow. Um, and yeah.
When I can't name a single other Ewok.
Oh, Nisa,
Nisa.
Kneesa. I think because I'm thinking of the people I know who've owned them. My cousin, Marissa, had a dog named Nisa. I think it's Gen X dogs. That generation that grew up
Yeah,
with the
that makes
Ewoks
sense.
in the 80s, and then they grew up and got their own first pup.
Especially if they watch the like Ewok cartoons and movies and all that stuff
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And there's certain dogs like Shih Tzus that have that kind of face.
They
They're
look
like,
just like them.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're like, oh, it's an
totally.
Ewok. So cute. So
Very,
yeah,
very adorable.
lots of miscellany today. I hope some of those things would inspire you to watch stuff. You said Wicked for Good you'd watch. I
Yeah.
don't know if I inspired anybody to go to the new Zootopia attraction, but we did talk about that too.
I do want
And
to see the animatronic, so I'm glad I'm not there yet, so they can get
right,
it
yeah.
fixed by the time I get back out there.
I hate that I have to go back to see it because I just don't even care about the story. It's so dumb.
Right.
We also talked today about our first Patreon topic of the season from Andrew, which was the Seven Seas Lagoon and the Ticket Transportation Center, and also just storytelling from different points of view, like Wicked, Frozen, and Maleficent.
Well, thank you all for listening, and we hope you enjoyed episode 264 of the Disney Holics Show.
Follow us on social media at the Disneyholics.
And if you'd like to get in touch, send us a DM on Instagram and or contact us at thedisneyholics.com.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.